Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a short video on the meaning of slope. And then you'll do a short quiz on that, and then we'll move into including that in our conclusions. Okay, so the example on the speed of a skateboard graph that you did, you had a change in y of 6.25 meters and a change in x of 7 seconds, and you ended up with a slope of 0.89. All right, slope is always the same, okay? Slope is always y over x. So you not only have the number, which is 0.89, but you also have the units, which is meters per second. And so that is a speed. You also have the fact that the slope is going up, which we refer to as a positive slope. Okay, a few examples, and then we will move on to the quiz. Okay, say you have a graph of distance versus time, and it looks like this. What can we say about that? And let's say that when we do the math on it, that the slope is actually 1.5. Okay? What can we say about it? Well, the first thing that we can say is we look at the direction of the slope. The direction is up, so that is what we call a positive slope. Okay? So the direction is up. That is a positive slope. That means it is increasing. The second thing we can talk about is the value of the slope. The value is 1.5. And the last thing that we can talk about are the units of the slope. The units of the slope are the y divided by the x. So, in this case, distance is kilometers divided by hours. So, in the end, our slope is 1.5 kilometers per hour. That is a speed. Now, next example. Position, like position on a track, for example, or position in a room. This time, let's say that our position looks like this. And it started out at 5 meters. And this is going to be 0. And let's say that this is 10 seconds. All right? So what can we say about this slope? The first thing that we can talk about with the slope, of course, is direction. The direction is down. This is a negative slope. Direction is down. That's negative. Second thing we can talk about is the value, which in this case is going to be 5 meters divided by 10 seconds is equal to 0.5 meters. 0.5. Third thing we can talk about are the units. The units is going to always be y divided by x. There's y, meters. There's x, seconds. So our slope is 0.5 meters per second. Next, slope doesn't always have to do with time. It can also be something physical. You guys use the rubber bands, but imagine, if you will, that you had used a spring instead, and then you hung a mass off of the spring, and the spring could move up or down, right? So we can graph an extension of a spring. All right, so let's just say that it looked like that. And that right there was 10 centimeters. And this right here is 5 newtons. So first thing we can talk about is direction. The slope is going up, so that is positive. The next thing that we can talk about is value. It's going to be 10 divided by 5. Which is 2. And the last thing we can talk about is units, which is always going to be y divided by x, centimeters over newtons. So this means that that spring will stretch 2 centimeters for every newton you put on it. That is the stretch of the spring. Just like this was the speed of whatever that was, 1.5 kilometers per hour, and position in time, meters per second. This was also the speed of that. And that should have been negative. We'll get into that later. Negative is down. All right. Finally, let's say that you're buying some, I don't know, steaks at the grocery store. You're buying some meat at the grocery store. And the meat cost $8 for every pound. Okay? So, if we have, say, 10 pounds right there, then that's going to be $80 right there. Again, what do we have? Direction is positive. In other words, the more meat you get, the more money you spend. The value is $80 divided by 10 pounds, or 8. And the unit is y divided by x. Y is dollars. X is pounds. So we end up being $8 per pound, or let's think of it in a different way. Let's think of it in a science sort of way. $8 per pound. And that, of course, is a price. So slope can have all kinds of meanings. It can either be positive, going up. It can be negative, going down. But in all cases, it's going to be y divided by x are your units. Y divided by x are your units. Y divided by x are your units.